I'm Matt Beagle with your Stratomatic Strategy of the Month. As your draft is over and you're looking to make your last-minute trades, it's a great time to talk about a cheap way to build a contender, how to make that 500 or just above 500 team a lot more difficult to beat this season. We know that offense and starting pitching are always difficult to get, always expensive, so the quickest and cheapest way to make your team better is through getting good relief pitchers and improving your defense in the field. Relievers often are cheaper to build with because rebuilding teams don't want them. With less innings, they have a small sample size and therefore their cards tend to skew one way or the other, so it's real difficult to build on relievers. But they often have a better card than starters, especially if you can add up their innings. It's much cheaper to get a good 40 or 50 or 60 inning reliever than it is to get a good 200 pitch starter. Mike Adams, for example, has the same card as Justin Verlander, basically, but he's a lot cheaper. You can probably get him for a second-round pick, whereas Verlander, you have to give up 3 or 4 different players just to acquire him. So getting relievers is a lot cheaper, and their cards are just as good, if not better. Therefore, you can build on relievers, and when you get to the playoffs, you're going to have an even better pitching staff. Other than your number one starter, the other pitchers might only pitch 1 or 2 games in the playoffs, whereas relievers, depending on your rules, can pitch several different games, sometimes every different game, depending on how strict your usage regulations are in your playoffs. So you can shorten the game to a 5-inning, 6-inning game by having a killer relief staff that can match up to your opponent, both lefties and righties. And again, you can get a lot of these guys cheaper than ever. Especially this year, we talked earlier about how in the draft, some great pitchers are sliding. Steve Cishek has been able to be available in the 3rd and 4th round. He's got a card that's better than most every pitcher, starting pitcher in the set. The other way to improve your team is to improve your defense. Up the middle, getting a good 2 can save more runs than you could get with a batter that's just pretty good. There's not a lot of great hitting second baseman or shortstop, for example, so if you can go from a 4 to a 2 or a 3 to a 2 with a low E rating, you can save a lot more runs than you'd ever generate if you try to get just a little bit better batter. So those are 2 quick ways to make your team better for the playoff run. I'm Matt Beagle with your Stratomatic Strategy of the Month.